Hello there. Good morning. All right. I wanted to get rid of the overlay. I was gonna do that and I completely forgot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Here we are. Another Sunday. New Year's right around the corner. There's a couple days left in the year. But today, game dev. How you doing, Brainless? Have a good morning so far? Let's see. I think doing well, working on the planning poker app. Well, I'll be excited to see what you made. When you have something you're ready to share. How about myself? Doing all right. I woke up, got my coffee. I checked in on the GTH world, the modded Minecraft world, and trying to figure out why Helium 3 was not being made, and you know, just normal morning things. Fair warning, AI was used on this project. I mean, I don't need that. I mean, how much AI do I use on all my projects? It's fine. It's not about the tools that you use. It's about, you know, how much. Like, I think there's a big difference between I'm just gonna say, hey, go make this thing, and whatever it makes, I'm just gonna take, and I'm not gonna vet, and I have no idea how it works, versus, you know, if you know what's going on, and you say, hey, make this thing, and you control it, and you review it. Well, you can't do all the coding, Brainless. Hey, Drifter, good morning. Christmas was good. Didn't do anything special other than I cooked a goose the other day for the occasion, but we didn't even bother putting up the tree. So it's just you know, all part of my December just taking time off, doing streaming sort of thing, right? So just less about Christmas and more about a whole holiday month. But yeah, you don't have the time among other things you have on your plate. Exactly. Didn't do a tree either. We have 6 cats. It wouldn't have lasted. There were a couple years where we have a tree up, and I think it's actually sitting in a box in the corner. But we just didn't bother. We didn't have anyone over, so yeah. But yeah. It's been a good month. I'm not quite done, but you know, definitely see going back to work on the horizon. Should be fun. How you doing, Drifter? I don't know that I've ever have I seen you on one of these coding streams? That's not a good place for my water. I need more desk. That's what I need. I need more desk. Let's move this back here. There. All right. Okay, and so I think I showed this off last week. Ooh, so bright. Let's go back to the project page. We have an inch.io page for the game. And it has a nice little run game thing here at the top. Don't use it. it's broken. I haven't actually even tested the downloads, right? So we have Windows and Linux downloads, but sadly this doesn't run out of the box in NixOS, so it's a problem. But the web version is definitely broken, and let's see, where is... I have too many windows. Where is game dev? Oh, right. It's this. It's here, right? Usually late up late at night. Yes. Well, yeah, I will assume then that you're somewhere on this side of the world, because depending on where you are in the world, late at night can mean different things. But good morning. Why up so early? But what I want to do is I want to remove the web version, right? So one of the things we did one of the last streams was we automated the process of deploying to itch.io, right? But we're gonna remove the web version of that because it doesn't work, and I don't really care to support it. 9 a.m. for you, and it's up still. Oh, I see. Wow. Okay. Well, good evening. 9 a.m. Okay, so we must be around the same time zone then. Okay, so let's create a branch. Remove web build, and then in our GitHub release.yaml. Oh yeah, so Brainless. With the help of AI, I made that matrix version of. I wanna get rid of these extra lines. They're super annoying. What extension? It's this one, isn't it? It's GitLens. I wanted to uninstall this anyway because it was adding a bunch of like MCP server stuff that I didn't want. There we go. Okay, so that's a little bit easier to look at without extra lines about who the author is every line. Anyway, so this is a workflow that runs when we do a release on GitHub. We have an optional. We can also invoke this manually. If you don't mind working on the terminal, I recommend LazyGit. Yeah, LazyGit. We looked at that at one point, didn't we? Let's see, NixOS LazyGit. It might have been a year or two ago. Drifter was saying, I was actually trying to program something simple for your new Stream Deck. You're very new to programming though. Interesting. What kind of Stream Deck is it, if you don't mind sharing? And how were you? What do you mean by programming? Like, is there like a freestanding program, or like there's a programming environment for it, or what are we talking about? Okay, so there's a LazyGit package for NixOS. It's not surprising. I feel like I've been here before. Lots of sponsors. Okay. Hey, yeah, this looks kind of familiar. I mean, that part just looks like what I would do in VS Code, and we have stuff for that. Although someday I'll have to get back into NeoVim, right, and do some more of that instead of staying locked into VS Code. Drifter was saying Elgato. It supports GIFs on the buttons, so you wanted to make one to split a GIF across all 15. Oh, okay. So you wanted to make like a script that would take a GIF and divide it up into smaller GIFs for all the buttons, right? So you have like, so it's I mean, I think there's a few different Stream Decks from Elgato, right? But it's like a grid of buttons. So you just need you need, my first instinct would be like write a Python script, but there's probably a library to open a GIF file and then do some image stuff. Yeah, and then Brainless is saying, yeah, nothing new with LazyGit. You can run everything with raw Git commands. Once you're familiar with it, your workflow much quicker. So the parts that I'm seeing are like, I mean, you can do a commit here. You can see the commit graph, this stuff. So you're most familiar with Python. Yeah, admittedly, like what I would probably do for that, not knowing exactly what libraries exist and that sort of stuff, I might first try with something like ChatGPT or Copilot or something and be like, this is the problem, and then see what it does. And then I would be like, okay, let me see, does the library that it's inevitably going to use exist? Or is it hallucinated? Things like that. But alternatively, you could just like Python GIF module. There is one on PyPy. Programming, so stuff like this. And Googling or ChatGPT or AI or whatever is where to start. This is definitely not what you want. The Matplotlib animation extension. Maybe not. But the great thing about the internet is there's so many resources out there. If you have just a glimmer of what you're trying to do, some Googling will get you very far. Okay, anyway, so we were looking at this workflow. And so we have a matrix. And the matrix is over platforms. So we have a Windows platform, a Linux platform, and a web platform. So removing the web build, right? Because the way this works is we have a set of steps that it does, and it does this for every platform, right? So everywhere we can just say matrix platform name, matrix platform directory, matrix platform preset, which all reads from these, right? So we have one set of steps that is performed 3 times, so we're going to change it to 2 times. So we'll just do a Linux and a Windows build for now. And then the publish release steps. We remove download web artifact, and we remove the line to publish the web version. And that is most everything we need to do. We also have a export presets config file, and we can just remove the web one if we want. Is that like I could remove preset.0, all of this stuff. I'm not going to bother because we're going to remove the build configuration, the build steps that would use it. So I think that's fine. And let's get that committed. I'll get that merged. And then on itch.io, it's going to be bright. We're going to edit the game, and we're going to remove the web build. And then that means that we're going to change the kind of project back to downloadable. Like so. And then when we look at the project, we no longer have the embeddable game widget at top. It's just the set downloads. Okay. And then get this pull request going. So I think after this, we're gonna go back to working on 3D model stuff. We kind of didn't quite finish the turret last time around. Part of, so I was thinking this morning specifically about that, and one of the reasons I was thinking about removing the web build, two reasons. One is that it's broken anyway. Definitely broken. Hopefully the Windows and Linux builds work. We'll have to test that at some point. But the web one is definitely broken. And two, though it didn't turn out to be the issue in Godot, right? So we have been developing this game with the compatibility render engine, but we tried to switch it to Forward Plus, and in doing a little bit of research this morning again about what it should be, given that this is not being developed, it's just intended to be a desktop game. It's not a mobile game. And it is 3D, although we have kind of like a top-down perspective. It is 3D models, 3D rendering. It seemed like the preferable option would be to go with Forward Plus anyway, which isn't compatible with the web platform. So here we go. We're gonna remove it. We're gonna go back to the new turret branch, which we will update. There we go. And yes, so did that. All right, so modeling, yes. Okay, so we have a model. I think two things. I think there's some tweaks to the model that we can do, and then we want to do some kind of work on the texturing of it. What mode are we in right now? We're in material preview. Okay. So we have a material. We have this metal material. I think what I want to figure out is if we have like a metal material and we have a rust material, mixing, kind of blending between those two things, based on a texture, is what we want. I think I have in my head an idea of how that would work. Before we do that, let's I'm not happy with what's going on with this part of the model here. I think maybe we just need a loop cut here to sharpen this. That's better. Yeah, I put a crease here. Let's see, what is it? Control E. So we have an edge crease. We can change the crease. I don't like that. Whatever's going on here. It's too sharp though. It's too sharp of an edge. Oh, I can just right click to get to this menu. Bevel edges. Are we doing like... Okay. No, that didn't do anything. Boop, 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 boop. Edge bevel weight. Change the bevel weight of edges. Does nothing. Okay. If you don't already know, I know some things about Blender, but I am far from an expert. Set sharpness by angle. Edge crease. Changes the crease of edges, right? So that's what we... I thought that's what we were doing. So when I did Control E before and I said edge crease, no. Does nothing. Oh, right, I don't have anything selected. That would be why. So let's try some other things here. Like, so we did, edge bevel weight. Ooh, no, that doesn't really do anything. Edge crease was what we were doing before, right? So we can do this. We can do 1, do 0, -1, does that. Interesting. Can we, so I'm pretty sure, hold on, let's see. Clear seam, that's not it. It's this edge crease, and in fact, I think the color here corresponds with it, right? But if I wanted to just remove the crease, how could I do that? Bevel edges, I think, won't do anything while that crease is there. How do I remove the crease? What is a freestyle edge? Never heard of that. Okay, that's UV stuff. Okay, let's see. Let's do the Google. Remove crease. The whole mesh, your only desired edges and opening properties. Set the mean crease to 0. Interesting. And mean crease. That is a mean crease. Okay, I guess that just setting it to 0 counts as it being removed. Great. Okay. So then we can actually do stuff here. Interesting. So I would like something, well, not like this. I would like something where we're not getting whatever this is happening. Fun. Okay, let's reset this and let's try an edge cut, a loop cut. Real close. Yeah. It's better. Can you do a crease on a face? Okay. So then if I do this and we scale, scale. Better or worse? Ooh. Why did that happen? Too sharp of an edge, but we can fix this. Maybe. Why? I mean, honestly, it's fine. Like at the scale that we're like, again, in the game, like this is too much detail, honestly, for this. And in fact, we will probably at some point go back and maybe simplify the model a bit. But whatever. Let's accept this as it is, and figure out how to do. This material. So How do we do this? How indeed. So we have this material. I want to go to, oh yeah, here. I want to go to our shader editor? Yes. Actually, let's go to this mode, because then we got our nodes display here, and we have our a viewer here, and then I'm out of coffee. There's just a drip left. Let's do this. So let's brighten this up a little bit, right? Actually, you know what we should do? Let's go back to our reference art, right? So speaking of AI generated stuff, we have some AI generated reference art here, and we're trying to we're kind of mixing the base of this model with the top of this, but I want to capture this the texture here and the kind of the mix of the rusty metal and the unrusted in this. And I actually don't we have is it here? Oh, that was our test sphere. Let's get rid of that. Delete. I guess I deleted the reference image from this. That's fine. Maybe we'll add it back. Let's see. No, that's not what I want to do. Image reference. Let's see, was that in downloads? It was. Okay, so we have a nice image in here. Let's go to, oh, interesting. Okay, so that's worth noting, right? So whatever perspective we're looking at is the orientation the empty with the image is put in. It's worth thinking about, right? Because then we could be like, okay, well, the perspective of the reference. Actually, yeah, delete that. So we're kind of like at this angle. But if we take the turret base and we just rotate it, I guess that's fine. Okay, let's try this again. Image reference. I'm just thinking it could be helpful to have the way we are looking at the model to match the perspective of the reference image. Would be good, right? So let's delete this again. Another thing we can do, so if we do toggle, not toggle camera view, there's an option, I forget where. to make it so that when we move perspective in the viewport, it changes with the location of the camera. Camera to view. Is that it? Right, so then did that work? If we could go to, no, that didn't work. There we go. Okay. So now I'm navigating around by holding down middle mouse, and we're moving the camera to do that. Right, we're from camera perspective. And then if I shift A, image reference, grab our image. We need to be maybe a little bit more above it. Right? Let's say like that. Now, turn off camera to view. And then what I'd like to do, is there a way to move this relative to the camera? Like just push it away from us. Transform orientation, apparently. So go. Is that Z? Yeah, that's Z. Okay. Ta-da. Learning all sorts of things. No, I don't think I've ever changed this before. So literally had a problem. I guess that's yeah, anyway. Good on the Blender UI. Anyway, what we wanted to do though is work on materials. Getting sidetracked. Can I pick? Okay, sure. So I guess the question is, maybe instead of doing base color, let's add a texture. Just like, well, we could do an image texture. We don't really have a thing, but we could do something here where it's like, can we name these? Yeah. Base metal. Okay. I wonder. This will be rust. So actually for now, let's try something else. Oh, we can right click. Okay. Let's do texture and then do just like a noise texture. And what is that? We'll wait for shaders to compile. Okay, so we got noise. Great. Okay. Sure. It's fine. Is this how we do this? Let's I guess we'll have to do. Can you UV unwrap multiple things together? Let's see. Object. You. Maybe not from here. Oh, maybe not then, because well, that's a mess. Is this? Okay, I guess we already UV unwrapped everything for what it's worth. I think we don't want everything overlapping. Let's see, can we? What can we do here? Nope, not that. Is this the thing where we have to go one by one and move stuff out of the way? Like that. I would really prefer not to. It'd be nice if we could just like, hey, see all this stuff? Now, do we just need to do new image? Let's say yes. What can I do from, like, this is the right view, right? We're in the UV editor. Maybe I can't deal with multiple objects at the same time, even though I really want to. I guess, so the legs, how they unwrap is pretty straightforward. And I'm confused. Like, what am I seeing here? Okay, Yuki finally did something. If we unwrap this, it has to think for a bit. Probably a bad sign. It's maybe a little bit too complicated of a mesh for this purpose. But whatever. How am I gonna do this? Interesting. Oh, okay. Oh, I understand now, right? So we're highlighting based on what's selected, the vertices selected over here, right? And we go over here, and then we can scale this down and move this. Like so. And then this leg, we will, nope. Try that again. Select this leg, tab A, and then A over here, and then scale. You know, it'd be really great if we could see. Ooh, what do these buttons do? Okay, UV select mode. Okay, probably face. UV island selection. Okay. sticky selection mode, view the entire image. Okay, that does that. Like, this is changing view. Image UV. So these were the kind of options I was like, live unwrap. Easily unwrap, select the UV island while transforming pen vertices. What does this do? I don't think I need that right now. UV unwrap. UV merge, transform. I think one of the things I want is the ability to see all of the UV sync selection, keep UV in edit mode, mesh selection and sync. Seems good. Right? But so obviously, like, if we go back over here, right, and we go back to here, like, it would be nice if there was a way to, hey, like that. Okay, so we can see both. I would like to be able to manipulate both. Why can't I? Like, if we, okay, I can edit. Okay, I can. I just have to. No. Select mode face. Okay, so if I alt shift click, I still don't get everything because you hate me. Oh, interesting. I can be in edit mode for multiple meshes at the same time. Is that true? Has that always been true? Wait, so if I just do unwrap here, no. That's interesting, but no. If I just select everything and we go into edit mode and I select all and I say, hey, so smart UV projection unwraps the select faces of mesh things. Unwrap. Okay. So this gives me a texture, like a map of a texture to all the faces of all of these meshes. Which I guess is what I want, because then when we go back to shading, I mean, things still look weird because it's a noise texture. And I think what this means, right, is that let's go back to UV editing. I wonder if there's something we could do here where we like. So what were the options for smart UV project? Margin method, rotation method, correct aspect, map UVs, taking aspect ratio of the image associated with the material into account, scale to bounds, scale UV coordinates to bounds after unwrapping. What does that mean? That's not significantly different. So I guess, like, if we look at okay, I'm trying to get a sense of, I think what should happen is that the space on the UV unwrapping here should be relative, right? So like if we're looking at okay, face select here, and we select this face. Look how tiny this is, right? Versus this. That relationship of size is not correct. Unwrap minimal stretch. Unwrap the mesh of the object being edited. Okay. So if we take this and then we go to shading, we have weird seams that we can fix, right? But we have more even like color change, which I think is indicative of the fact that the relative, like we don't have like, some areas are represented by a tiny portion and some areas are represented by a huge portion of the texture, which I think is maybe important. I don't know. I barely know what I'm doing, but we're just gonna keep on doing things anyway. So I want a different texture. Let's grab like a gradient texture, whatever that does. I don't know what that does. Let's try something else. I just want two obviously different textures to then mix. Try to figure out how to mix. So let's do like a white noise texture. That'll be visually very different. And then we want to color mix by a factor, right? And the factor I think can also be a texture, and it'll be an image texture. Yeah, and then we'll just do a new 1024. This will be how rusty. So then I think if we go to texture paint mode and we look at this and we go to, yeah, our image, how rusty. Things we need to do. So I think we want to paint white. We're gonna do like airbrush. That changed the color again. Size. So if I can remember how this works, I think I should be able to paint here, and then we'll see stuff showing up over here. But that's not working. Brush strength. Boop 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 boop. Stencil mask. Material preview. Yeah, but we're not seeing stuff show up here. I'm pretty sure this should work. Strength color. What am I missing or forgetting? Could be a lot of things. Could be a lot of things. Blending mode, airbrush, a bunch of options we can't see. Is there a way to, there we go. Aha. Brush, texture. We are working in this. Image, texture mask, stroke, fall off, cursor, options, occlude backface calling. I think this should all be fine. So why? Like if I can paint here. There you go. So you can see something happens. Right, but if I paint kind of a gray, we kind of get a mixture. I think we need like two properly different textures. Maybe I'll change the inputs to like two different well, I could just, let me go grab a metal texture and a rust texture. I guess the other way of doing this would be to forget about mixing and just paint the rust onto the underlying texture. Like we take our, yeah, so that might be simpler. Right, so rather than having two separate textures and mixing them, we get rid of this, we get rid of the mix, we take this texture, we I don't think we need the UV map. That's taken care of, right? If we just say if we're just doing this, right? And then we just paint. Then we can just paint the texture directly in here, right? And that is maybe the simplest thing, other than the fact that, do I know how to paint textures? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, so where is there's a reference image. If we grab color, like there, we could just paint. Let's change to paint hard. First of all, here, it's all white now. Great. Let's grab that. There we go. All right, we have a UV unwrap texture. And then we can potentially just like grab a rusty bit like that, and then we can switch back to like an airbrush, and that makes us lose our picked color. So we go back there, dial the size way back down, and then we're like, okay, well, where do we want rust to appear? I don't know. Can we go to camera mode? Something like this. There we go. And then we can be like, okay, well, put a little rust here. Also, I still have not figured out how to paint here because this is not working. Pretty sure that should work. Ooh, frame last, remove the, okay, interesting. What am I missing? What is keeping us from, I'm fairly certain that in the past I have been able to paint from this view, which would be very helpful for, you know, doing this. Maybe it's an option over here. Hey, Moody Abigail, thanks for the lurk. Hope you're doing well. Here we go. Maybe in tool options. Workspace. Pen scene. Mode texture paint. Or vertex paint? No, not vertex paint, right? Vertex paint? No, that does something else, right? Yeah, I think we want texture paint. Masking? No. Okay, well, I'm gonna go Google how texture paint mode works in Blender. While we'll do that after the break. We gotta take a break here, and because Twitch has to run ads, so I'll be back in like 3 minutes, and